Parker Schnabel, the gold expert, finds himself head and neck deep in debt after purchasing a new claim. A few months into the season, he had only managed to bring in 400 ounces of gold, and now his only hold-producing wash plant has shut down. Parker is in a position where no money is coming in, and things seem to need to be better for him once his new wash plant yields results and processes $250,000 of gold. Join us as we delve into how Parker's new wash plant processes $250,000 of gold. $250,000 worth of gold. Parker spent almost everything he had on his new $15 million Dominion Creek claim. And being a miner, he keeps spending more money each day to come down to gold. With his plant shutting down, the chances of it breaking down are suddenly high, and with no other cuts ready to run, the chances of going bust are at an all-time high. Things are looking extremely gloomy for him. Chris Drummett, a gold recovery expert, wants to get everything out and see if they can find some gold in the area. He pulls the gold-catching mud from Slucifer and claims that Parker is currently stressed because he has never had debts like this. He doubts that most people have the kind of debts he has right now. If they pay the bills, they will retain what they already have, and what they have is their only way to pay the debts. That is also weighing down on his mind, as he cannot afford to lose the little string of hope that he has left. Parker had spent about $1 million a week to get things rolling, but more was needed to be brought in. And even though he has already spent so much, the investment return is not impressive. His team desperately needs gold to offset the debts, and Dominion Creek seems to be where the gold can be obtained. 10 miles away, Parker pays a visit to his foreman, Mitch Blaschk, who is stripping the new cut at Dominion Creek, the money pit. He asks Mitch what he thinks about the level he is cutting. He thinks it is okay. The level to which he has stripped the cut feels like pay, which is good news. Since the area is well dried, he thinks Mitch can sluice the ditch. Desperate to get gold coming in, Parker wants to get things moving. Over the past few weeks, the crew has stripped over 4 acres of money pit down to frozen pay, and they dug ditches around the edge of the cut for water from the pay gravel to drain into. Most of the cut is frozen, but a small amount of pay dirt is deep in the ditches, ready to go through a wash plant. When Parker bought Dominion Creek, the new wash plant was included in his plans. Well, money has to be made, and it has to be made from somewhere. The crew hopes that the new wash plant can catch them some gold. The team is ready to fire up Slucifer's twin. It is a big day for them as they are finally ready to send some pay dirt through the wash plant. Mitch calls Emma to head over so they can start hauling some pay. They are excited about the first of paying dirt in the newly acquired Dominion Creek. The first scoop of the dirt will tell them all they need to know about their new claim. The process begins with the first scoop of pay dirt in Dominion Creek. Parker fires up the wash plant to be sure it works, and it confirms by releasing water. It's time to mix some dirt with it and hopefully some gold. The mine boss hops into an excavator and scopes the pay dirt, sending it straight to the washing machine, which is still nameless, hoping there is a lot of gold here. With almost $18 million in the red, Parker is finally running for dirt in Dominion Creek. At least it was not in vain. The team managed to mine some gold, which was brought for weighing. His crew also has 2 gold weighs this week. The last gold is from the unforgivable cut they already mined, and his first is from Dominion Creek. Mitch and Parker arrive and announce to the crew that they have caught gold from the new wash plant. Speaking of the new plant, the team finds themselves trying to devise a name for it. Parker suggests Doom, while Mitch thinks Bob sounds better. That agrees with Bob. However, Parker thinks there is no need to worry too much about it, since he might just sell it off because part of the idea of buying the place was so they could recoup some of the purchase prices by selling stuff, but they have yet to do that. The plant is worth about $1 million and has 1,000 hours on it. Chris ends up supporting the idea of selling the plant. He thinks it is a good idea too. The unforgiving cut had been sluiced pretty quickly, such that the speed at which it was sluiced caught everybody off guard. Parker wants at least 500 ounces from the now mined-out unforgiving cut. To hit that target, he needs 120 ounces, but the now mined-out unforgiving cut produces 30 ounces of gold worth $60,000. The total out of the cut was 408.95 ounces. He does not think that's good enough, as it still needs to be up to the 500 ounces he wanted. The mood was already really low after weighing the gold from the unforgiving cut. The team can only hope Dominion Creek produces more gold than the other cut. They had run 100 hours on Dominion Creek. Having been weighed, Chris announces with a smile that the gold mine from Dominion Creek measures up to 132.45 ounces, worth over $250,000. The result lifts the team's mood. The result from the weighing seems to be on target and is easily one of the best shots that the team has had. Parker's crew got 1.3 ounces per hour, which is good considering that the plant had issues with water. Chris thinks it is one of the best shots they have had. Parker hopes the ground will continue going like that and even improve. Let's go through other big finds and some difficulties that almost caused Parker's mining operations to tumble. 90 acres for Parker's Alaskan mine. Parker had taken over his grandpa John's Alaskan claim just 12 years before, and it was only a short time before he outgrew what he inherited. According to him, if he wanted to play with the big boys, he had to get closer to where the big boys were. He now runs one of the biggest mining operations in the Klondike. This season, his team plowed through 90 acres, whether running or on grounds. Parker gambled hundreds of thousands of dollars to secure his future on a new claim in Alaska. Every test showed that it could hold $10 million in his and keep them glued to mining for years if paid out. Parker hoped that they could do 1,000 ounces there. There was a lot of stripping for the team. Thus, in the meantime, they were simply stockpiling old drift tailings with the hope that there would be lots of good in there. Parker's Alaskan greenhorn had been divided into two. His wolf cut is focused on opening virgin grounds holding high-grade pay, but the pay layer, being 30 feet down, would take the team weeks to get down to it. On the other hand, his drift crew is hunting for a quick score to set the whole operation rolling in gold. Mark Fors is the new foreman overseeing the setup of Parker's latest wash plants. Mark worked with the team to set up the Red Rocket wash plant before they could begin mining. Parker's Alaskan mine began running, and the first scoop would determine the future of Parker's mining operations. Parker Schnabel's crew had churned through nearly 1,500 yards of old-timers drift tailings. After processing the gold, Parker brought the team together for the first Alaskan Goodway after 14 hours of running. To hit his mark of 1,000 ounces, Parker was looking for drift tailings to deliver 1.3 ounces per hour of runtime. He needed 435 grams to hit 14 ounces. Ultimately, the team came up with 13.82 ounces, worth over $23,000. It was a promising start in Alaska. Parker's monumental loss worth over $3 million. After sinking hundreds of thousands of dollars into a claim in Alaska, Parker and his crew banked 108 ounces from tailings left by old-timers. But the real deal was the Wolf Cut, a virgin ground that could hold over 2,000 ounces and was worth more than $3 million. This Wolf Cut is a really important pit. The team even tagged it the most important pit of the season, just in terms of the information gotten from it. Parker's crew took 2 months to get to the Wolf Cut pay layer, but only some things go as planned, which was the crew's situation. Weeks prior, a rather devastating flood turned the Wolf into a lake. Parker thought it would have been better to go with all the money to Vegas than drown in the Wolf Cut, but Parker was resilient. The crew managed to battle back the water, and the foreman, Mark Fors, finally came down to pay dirt. Parker was determined to find out if there was enough gold to go all in. He loosened the dirt in one area but was utterly unimpressed. Moving to another area, he finally found fine dirt, a natural indication of gold. Parker decided to leave the crew and return in 2 days. Just when it seemed as though everything was going as planned, something happened that stunned the entire crew. A hole was blasted in the wall and mud and water poured out. Mother Nature was not totally on their side that day. The water they thought they had gotten rid of was back, stronger than before, and posing more threat than the previous one. The crew did not expect this to happen. The Wolf Cut was on the verge of being flooded again. While digging for pay at the very bottom of the Wild Cut, An excavator struck the side of the pit and uncovered a waterlogged mine shaft, flooding millions of gallons of water back into the pit and covering the pay grounds. The crew already had one 8-inch pump, but more was needed to tackle the water. The crew got the second pump working, but it didn't make much difference. Water was still coming in from everywhere. After firing up their 2 pumps, the crew lost their fight against the water. Their only option was to pull the pipe from the wash plant. But that was such a big decision, and Parker was in the position to make that call. But he was not there, and he wasn't answering his phone. It was a dilemma. If they did not pull the pipe from the wash plant to support the other 2 pipes, the whole area would be flooded and they would lose the pay in the Wolf Cut. Tyler made the hard call and shut down the wash plant, pulling its pump to double their draining power. They had no choice but to leave the area while the pumps did their job. The pumps removed 10 million gallons of water in 24 hours. Parker finally returned, expecting to see the Wolf Cut's first cleanup. Instead, he was greeted with stories about the flood that happened. Parker's team strike gold worth $1 million. At Parker's Yukon operation, his foreman, Mitch Blish, attempted something incredible. I mined out a record-breaking 90 acres of ground in just one season. His crew had already sluiced out 60 out of the 90-acre airstrip, pulling in nearly 5,000 ounces of gold. The wash plant Lucifer was 2/3 of the way through the payback cut, while Big Red, on the other hand, had started to churn through the massive 24-acre runway cut. On the runway cut, Mitch was forced to bring Big Red to a half-act, identifying a major problem. Big Red's grizzly bars were too worn out to continue operations. The hydraulic grizzly bars are meant to stop large boulders from entering and damaging the wash plant. But after continuous usage for 5 months, the frame holding the bar had bent out of shape, and a hinge had been ripped off the harper. The simple fix was to bend the frame back in position and reattach the hinge bracket of the wash plant, then weld a plate to hold it in place. Ty managed to fix the grizzly bars after 6 hours, and the wash plant was fired up to continue operations. Parker arrived at the end of the week to examine what the T had done. So far, the crew has mined 60 acres, delivering 5,372 ounces. The crew would now like to see what Big Red can come out with, despite running at a reduced speed. Big Red's gold measured up to 277.3 ounces, which was all right. Lucifer, on the other hand, added up to 342.8, which exceeded the team's expectations. Big Red and Lucifer combined for 639 ounces, worth $1 million. Parker finds $240,000 worth of gold on Tony Beat's claim. After striking a profitable deal with Tony Beat, Parker needed to mine more ground than before and had to do it before the season ended. To take on the claim, he had mobilized his entire up-and-down operation to strip the extra 45 acres and wanted to start pulling in some gold within just a week. On the team are Nora Lovelace, who maneuvers a 73-ton D10 bulldozer, and Tatiana Costa, who trucks overburdens to the waste piles led by Parker himself in another 73-ton D10 bulldozer. He thinks the best way to figure out if you can manage different projects simultaneously is to start doing it. Parker already has a huge 45 acres of ground to mine at the airstrip, and by adding Tony's, he is now up to 90 acres in all, which is 50% more than he mined the year before. He could beat his previous record of $15 million if he gets through with it. On the other side of the claim, Tyson Lee is digging ditches and building BMS in the 480 excavators on the pre-striped ground closest to the Indian River. Despite the team's reservation, Tyson has gone out of the blocks. He has protected the cut from flooding and is ready to run. Now Mitch just needs to fire the wash plant. For Parker to hit his target on the airstrip, Big Red must sluice 24/7 for its longest season. After mining for days straight, the team is eager to see how the new Tony Beat paid off. They got 137.8 ounces, worth over $240,000, which isn't bad for a first run. $400,000 gold haul. Parker and his crew stormed Alaska for gold on a historic mining ground, hoping to expand their good mining empire. He had brought his right-hand man, Mitch Blaschke, to help on this one. Mitch is curious why he chose this ground over all his mining grounds. Parker tells him it's because the ground is fetish, but much richer. It's no surprise that Parker decided to go to a deeper place. It is well known that he drilled trestles through deep clay-packed ground last year, and he hit a pay streak 4 times richer than his Yukon claim. However, the 4-month delay to the wash plant that he designed for this ground indicated that digging would not be an option this time. The claim owner, John Reeves's daughter Alora, and his husband Drew think there might be a way to salvage his season on this historic ground. Alora claims there's a lot of gold to be found in the area. Alora leads them further into the claim to prospect an area first mined in the 1900s. The old-timers had excavated shafts through concrete up to 100 feet deep until they hit the ground just above the bedrock. Then they mined horizontally and pulled some gold to the surface, where they washed the last dirt through primitive sluice boxes, leaving behind some of the gold they had found in their training. This has become a huge advantage for the team. If the old-timers left gold behind in their trailings, it would be a great operation for the team and a quick and easy ground for him to mine when his wash plant arrives. At the airstrip, Tyson Lee has run Big Red all week round, while Parker and Mitch prepare for their passion. The mine boss expects the airstrip wash plant, Big Red, to produce 1.8 ounces per hour. This week, the wash plant ran for 90 hours, so it should bring forth around 1,600 ounces of gold. But Big Red produced 222.50 ounces, worth $400,000. The amount of gold mined by Parker's team from different locations is a testament to the prestige and luxury they exude, even when off-camera. And if you're looking to match that level of style and finesse, there's no better way to do it than by getting our Atlantis pullover hoodie. It's a standout item among all the choices available this new year. So why wait? Click on your screen now, or check out the first link in the description to grab yours. Take advantage of this opportunity to elevate your wardrobe. Let us know your thoughts about these fantastic gold finds in the comments. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to see more videos.